Good evening. On the 14th of January, 5.8 million Ugandans renewed Museveni's mandate as president for another 5 years, extending his presidency to 40 years. In the same election, 25 ministers were floored as the National Unity Platform swept the Central Region, becoming the leading opposition party in Parliament. But what could have gone wrong for the NRM in the Central Region? And what lessons can the opposition pick from the exercise? Tonight we host Ibrahim Ssemujju Nganda, opposition chief whip, Evelyn Anite, state minister for investment and privatization, and Mathias Mpuuga, vice president, National Unity Platform. Gentlemen and lady, thank you so much for having honored our invitation. For the two of you gentlemen, I first begin by congratulating you. Congratulations for their individual wins. And for you also have to congratulate you for your party, the NRM, for having won once again.
Thank you.
Well, here we are. We have just finished an election, January 14th. Ugandans seem to have spoken with a lot of clarity. The numbers, I'm sure, do not lie. Members of Parliament, 316 for NRM, 62 for NUB. And also, even today, 89 chairpersons of LOC5, NRM. You know, it is a victory that was decided in a ballot. It's a victory that is loud and clear. Do you concede?
Concede what?
That NRM has carried the day today and carried the day of January 14th, and of course, this country is going to be implementing the NRM manifesto.
You know, Patrick, we need to be fair to the viewers, and I will not be part of the conspiracy to mislead this country. I really heard you make your preamble referring to the numbers, to the statistics of the voters and who voted for the NRM and then the other parties. I think to make this conversation really meaningful to the viewers and eventually growing the conversation about our democracy, part of what must be opened up is whether actually the EC made the rightful declarations and actually is in charge and holds official and proper statistics. One of voters, two of winners and losers. Because I'll speak it for the umpteenth time. Mr. Museveni lost the election. The NRM actually lost the election. It was through the ballot. They prevailed through the bullet. And I cannot apologize for that. It's the reality. Up to now, if you had done this country justice and brought here Mr. Byabakama, and we probed him on the numbers he read, I'm sure I would take flight in the break. So this conversation is more than the declarations, and for me, we decline to concede as NUP for the simple reason that yesterday but one, our team officially went to the EC to request for official results for presidential elections as declared. They don't have them. They refuse to hand over official results because they know that it's the official national shame, because they are a huge contradiction. What they declared and read to the people, to the country, is a huge contradiction with what actually people voted and declared at the polling stations. If you recollect, when Mr. Byabakama turned up to do the second reading of the declaration, he was asked by journalists that, can you please advise us as to what your reading is coming from? And he actually didn't know what he was reading. I think somebody was slotting pieces of paper. So it all looked funny. So I do not know whether we're not backing a wrong tree by wishing to debate the matters of election in the way you preferred. I'm not trying to really moderate the program, but I would rather that a proper conversation be said for us to discuss whether this country is on course in terms of deciding that we shall determine the future of this country politically through an electoral process conducted in a manner where all of us are agreeable to the processes, because an election per se is not an event, it's a process. Are we able to relate the activities prior to polling to the polling day activities, and then eventually declare how the NRM is such a giant that it floored you? It is actually positing 85 LC5 chairpersons in Rengo, where the Honorable Ssemujju and myself are born. The military took over the EC offices today morning from 9 a.m. up to when actually the military declared the results. So
okay, what is interesting is that and maybe I could agree with you, is that probably you have to look at the entire process. But I wonder why always, if you believe you have a fraudulent process, and really you participate in a fraudulent process, thinking what is going to come out of that.
Now, Patrick,
what are your expectations to get into what you call a fraudulent process, and you hope that the fraudulent process is going to give you, you know, a decent outcome?
Patrick, we are not short of options of trying to remove this government. But some of us in our organizations elected chose that we shall try to enforce democratic processes to access positions of government, of power. And we have resisted all manner of invitations to seek political office otherwise. And the question you are raising is trying to challenge us as to whether we can't access power using extra-constitutional means. And we decline that invitation because that's not what we elected to do.
This fraudulent process has given you a win in Masaka. Should people say, look, he went through a fraudulent process, he shouldn't be a legitimate member of parliament representing Masaka because everything is flawed?
Patrick, with due respect, that is narrow. That's a narrow view.
No, I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
Because you said the whole system,
and I'm responding
the
to
whole
you.
System is flawed.
And naturally, you are reciting rote learning from the NRM. I saw my friend, the Honorable Anite, nodding in approval, tacit approval of your position.
No, come on.
I can tell you.
Look, you are legitimately,
I'm telling you,
elected in Masaka.
I never set out.
You and your colleagues are celebrating in Masaka. You cannot be the same person who is saying you participated in a fraudulent process that has elected you as a member of parliament, Honorable Mathias Mpuuga.
Now, Patrick, let's be fair to the viewers. What are we trying to discuss?
No, because you have brought the issue that we should look into the entire process.
Yes.
If the process is fraudulent, then why get involved in a fraudulent process, hoping it's going to give you something decent?
You know, I have set my own ground rules, but I will subscribe to yours towards the moderator. One, that I am not going to involve myself in discussing small things, namely that I was able to win my position as MP. I never set out to be MP of Masaka City and then come to Parliament to be ruled by a dictator. I chose to work with others so that we can form government and make this country better. Okay, if we are going to really democratize in pieces, that I might sit in my comfortable seat in Parliament and look on with tacit approval, you know, when our democracy is going down the sewer, and therefore I must be comfortable because I won, I can be part of that deception.
Okay, Honorable Ssemujju Nganda, I can maybe agree that the ground is not leveled. I can maybe agree that the system is not fair to you. But I also want to add, no one is going to level the ground for anybody. And it doesn't happen. I haven't seen it happen anywhere in Africa. But I've seen people thrown at the deep end and swim out and even take out a regime that have been there for 30 or 40 years. What will it take despite the unleveled ground, for the opposition to gain an upper hand?
You see, the problem I have had, and I don't want to blame you, with the civil society, with the clergy, with the media, is to detach yourself from what is happening in Uganda. And each time we face you, you are quizzing us as if Uganda is our parents' estate. That we have a singular duty to make it better as you watch on the sidelines, and then blame us when things have not gone. We are where many African countries have been. Malawi, Zambia. Bakiri Muruzu wanted to rule Malawi maybe until he dies in office. There was a collective effort by that country, led by the religious leaders, to throw him out. The same happened in Zambia. So the questions you're asking me and asking the Honorable Mpuuga, the media must pass a judgment. In your own view as a media, is this an election that you are proud of? That your country went through an election where presidential candidates are being beaten? My presidential candidate had less than 30% meetings. He spent part of the time in jail. At one time he had to be wheeled in a hospital when they had tear gassed him and pepper sprayed him. So before you come to the individual results, even about it happened. I remember interviewing the late Abubakar Kacha Bamayanja. He won the election, but he had to go to Kenya. But they were under, even the election that made Museveni go to Luwero. In fact, I think, if I remember correctly, UPC must have got about 40 something and DP about 38 parliamentary seats in 1980. It is not that when an election is stolen that everything is going to be stolen. Even when you have a robber entering your house, he will not carry the house. He may carry the beds and TV. And then you cannot say, but where is the robbery? How comes the house remained and your car is there? So a robber doesn't take everything. He will take some item. So to quiz a person, for you, Ssemujju, you went through, how do you dismiss this election? It's as if this election was only in Ikira. This election was in the entire country. We started the process that you, media, witnessed, that everybody did. So therefore, the point you ask, the Honorable Mpuuga, this is a continuation of the struggle to free ourselves, and we use every single opportunity as it presents itself. From the point of view of the FDC, we went to these elections knowing that, like in the past elections, Mr. Museveni will announce himself a winner whether he has won or not. Why did we go there? That question we have answered repeatedly. It's like someone looking for money. If you don't get it today, the following day you're on the road. So therefore, we go into these processes to continue struggling like anyone else has on the continent. Maybe one day we will be able to achieve what we've not achieved. So we can't fold our hands and say, because in the last election, this election was stolen, we were not now participating, so we go home and begin crying. That's what Museveni wants. We are not going to boycott any process in Uganda. We will participate, use them as a platform to continue struggling, to use these platforms to continue raising the level of civic awareness, including to the media, that we have a collective responsibility to make Uganda better. If an election is fraudulent, it doesn't have to be passed by me and Mpuuga. Even you as a media, you should be able to tell us whether you are comfortable with the nature of the election that we have had.
But I don't know why you forget. This very show, we've had President Yoweri Museveni appear on this very show. We have put questions to him in terms of constitutional amendments. He has been able, we have exposed him. He has told a lie that he wasn't supposed even to be in this. What else can, we have to put questions to you and to her. I'm not going to sit here and nod my head because you have said something and like a gecko that I'm accepting. I'll put the question to you as much as I'll put the question to Evelyn and Anite.
I agree with you,
yes,
Kamara.
that's how it is.
I agree with you.
I will do my part. Whether it is you or it is Yoweri Museveni or anybody, the questions will come. And some of them may not be as palatable, but that's my job. For example, I need to move on to Honorable Anite. When you have a presidential candidate in the race, for heaven's sake, Uganda's leading opposition leader now is the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi. You incarcerate him in his home. It is not even a place for detention. If he has issues with the election and he wants to go and appeal on petition, there's limited time for him to do that. Why do you hold him in his house, for heaven's sake? It is not a prison. If he has committed a crime, take him to court. Just give him his freedom.
Patrick, before I answer you, I need to, first of all, because I'm in a very jovial mood, as you know that I was in your studios when we were campaigning, and I did emphatically make it clear to Ugandans that as NRM, we're mobilizing and we're going to win the elections come 14th of January. And the day came and we won. So for starters, allow me to congratulate my flag bearer, my party chairman, and now my president, Yoweri Museveni, upon winning the election triumphantly. And then I also allow me to congratulate the NRM members of parliament now elect, all our flag bearers, 316 of them, for winning the election. I also want to congratulate my very good friend Ssemujju for surviving the NUP monsoon wind. I thought, and I said it before on my tweet, and I'm on record, that NUP was just a party that is Kampala-based. And my statement came to pass, and therefore I want to congratulate Ssemujju that you really survived, well survived, my brother, congratulations. And also Mathias, Honorable, I congratulate you for winning the elections. And if you're really not happy like you sound, lead by example. Ugandans are here. We want to see. Say the elections were not free and fair, and therefore, in as much as I got elected, I feel that it was not a transparent and democratic elections, and therefore, I decline. I will not go to parliament. We will clap for you, and then we'll take you serious. But for as long as you accept congratulation messages from us, and then you come out and you get sworn in, then we'll know that you're just a hypocrite, and you're just pretending. Now, that said, to your question, Patrick, what is happening to Honorable Kyagulanyi is in his own interest to protect him from going to cause or break the law. He's been breaking the law. The people who keep peace and order have been restraining him throughout and saying there's COVID, please do not gather these people. An electoral commission had had a number of meetings. If you let Honorable Kyagulanyi come out, he is going to break the law and spread the disease, COVID.
Wait a minute.
And
Honorable Evelyn and Anite, just today we were watching President Yoweri Museveni. In fact, my producer can put the images for you. You know, driving from Rwakitura, stopping at every trading center, people gathering, no social distancing, no masks, nothing. So has COVID all of a sudden disappeared?
No.
Is it only alive when Robert Kyagulanyi comes out, and when Yoweri Museveni comes out, COVID is not alive? It does not spread, does not kill?
You know,
because it happened from Rwakitura to city center here in Kampala.
You see, I can't say that was something wrong.
Where is the social distancing there?
The people they support us, you know, out of excitement. This is an excitement. And the same thing happened to me in Koboko. People got excited and they all came on the road. They are excited that their president won and they came on the road. It's not that President Museveni actually mobilized these people to come on the road. That is wrong. The people came on the road, and their enthusiastic supporters just got excited and they got on the road.
Anite,
so
these people
if you listen to the president,
they had public address system, They had
Tents.
Kadodi there.
Those
they were
are
dancing
supporters.
there.
At
At every stopover, you could see an organization, an event that had been told. They had been told. Honestly, there was organization there.
I
There was
watched that.
mobilizing of people.
By enthusiastic supporters, not by President Museveni, and not by the Secretariat, not by the official body of NRM. They did not mobilize that. People just got excited and they got on the road. And this excitement happens. When you're happy, you're happy.
Okay,
you're not going to hide your excitement.
Before I come back to Honorable Mathias, if Honorable Robert Chagulanyi has committed a crime, has broken the law, take him to court for heaven's sake.
It is, Honorable Chagulanyi, first of all, you had the police saying he's not under house arrest. He's not on any arrest. They are just protecting him.
From whom?
From himself.
All right. Let me first rest there. Okay, now, in this situation, Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, the process is fraudulent, and in your view, dictatorship is real. So how do you move forward?
No, just like the Honorable Ssemujju did observe, that we did agree as part of our agenda to subscribe to an incremental process that we probably can break down this country if we didn't do otherwise. And I want to disregard the view of my honorable friend from Koboko, because I don't think her submission is cogent. I don't know what actually was saying. That if the election is stolen, then therefore she's not swearing. And well, with due respect, probably we are having a different conversation in as far as what we are trying to share with the country. It's going to take a lot of understanding by Ugandans that we have a problem on our hands. And all institutions and all individuals at one stage will suffer the tacit approval of allowing these kind of conditions to prevail. You did witness that in the middle of the campaign, apart from the politicians, the media practitioners, the journalists were the most targeted. So at the end of the day, no one was safe in the face of an onslaught from a dictator, which is why the call for duty is for every citizen, regardless of where you belong. Because the trajectory of the ruling party, if it's a party in any way, is a danger. The sheer transaction cost of sustaining a dictatorship is terrible for the country. And therefore, we need an appreciation as citizens that we need to rejig and change the course of flow of, if this were a river, we need to dig deep and rechannel the waters of this country. Otherwise, there's no amount of crying, there's no amount of self-pity that will change the situation. We need to be out there, summon our best energies, and face the challenge. And as long as citizens in their individual capacities, civil society, religious institutions look at this as a movie and would be willing to come and extend, presentaries at the swearing-in ceremonies, then visit Ssemujju in a police cell and commiserate, that won't change our situation. As long as there's no common appreciation, that is a problem. And I'm extending this invitation to my sister and honorable colleague, the Honorable Evelyn, that as long as in your position, there is no appreciation of the fact that this country has a very, very serious deficit in terms of building and enduring democracy, then actually we are here for no reason. Okay. As long as we continue to gloss over very serious cases of injustice. My candidate did not visit 50 districts, 50 out of 146. Not because he had not fuel in his car. He was either under arrest, stopped on the way. And I remember my sister proclaiming that in her area, you can't step there because she's the gateway, she had the key. Of course, she had discovered that she had the wrong key because eventually somebody with the right key did open and Chagoni accessed Koboko.
And he did not win?
As long as such statements come from national leaders, then certainly this country is really in danger, and we must find a way out of this, dangerous situation.
Okay.
And have a proper conversation as to how we want to move as a people and the kind of country we want to bequeath to our children.
Honorable Mpuuga, Honorable Ssemujju, and Honorable Anite, hold on to your points there because we're going to take a break. And the On the Spot show will be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back on air, gentlemen and ladies. Honorable Ibrahim Ssemujju Nganda, Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, and Honorable Evelyn Anite, and we're discussing the elections, 2021 general elections. I just want to come to you. We have seen the people in the central region speak with one voice, with clarity. And I'm sure the process was hard for them as much as it was hard for the people in different parts of our country. Now, how do you build on that so that, I don't know whether it was civic competence in Uganda and other region, I don't know whether it was, the awareness, or you worked harder, or maybe they're a little brave, or I don't know, whatever it is, maybe it can help in your favor. How do you make sure this spreads across?
I am still consuming the results of the general election. I have looked at the age of those who have successfully, and I'm using the word successfully, because there are people who did not make it, not because they are weaker candidates. That's why I'm using those who have been successful. I'm looking at the age. I and Mpuuga met in secondary school, I think around senior 2. We are now I think the oldest bunch of these people who are entering parliament. And it will take a pretender not to accept that things are changing. In fact, for me, even if an election is stolen like this one was, there are areas that make me happy as a person. And the way the region called Uganda voted, for me is a source of comfort. Because Mr. Museveni has been winning, and I'm using word winning, in Uganda and Busoga. This time is looking for allies elsewhere. So the results, you can take them, the official results, let me use the word official results as released by Electoral Commission, a big lesson. I said maybe I should call Mpuuga. We are aging very fast. I don't know those who are our fathers, what they are still doing in offices.
Yeah, but these demographics changes are not only happening in Uganda, they're happening all over Uganda. This is largely a very young nation.
Yeah.
Majority of the people are younger than us by far.
Yeah.
It's not only, it's everywhere. And I just want to know, the good things that happened in the central region, you could maybe do the same out, because you need to find out whether it is the civic competence of the people here or anything that you did different, because ministers were annihilated in this election here in this region.
As I said, I am still consuming the outcome of this election. I don't want to be quick in passing judgment. I am happy that Uganda voted the way it did, because Mr. Museveni has been priding himself in having a following here in Busoga. I kept asking myself, I appear on a talk show on a radio station, kept asking myself why Museveni's brother had camped and refused to leave Gulu. I kept asking myself, because we've always won in those areas. He even offered to send us a helicopter so we can go and have a radio talk show there. He was not leaving. So when the probing has ended, of every single thing that happened in each part of the country, it will be a different story. But I am still celebrating. I am happy. I always felt very bad. Even if results are stolen, why are they stolen in my area? They can be stolen elsewhere. I am happy, but I am also looking at the young people who have joined parliament. As the Honorable Mpuuga said earlier, this work is going to be incremental. This work is going to be incremental. And it may be us, but we are about to begin celebrating. People were fighting Gaddafi. It took them 43 years. They themselves didn't know that the end had arrived. The same applies to all the strong men of Africa, Bashir, Mubarak, Mugabe. Instead of hiring crowds to welcome Museveni, and I don't know who leaked his itinerary to every trading center, that the man is now about to leave his home, so you can now begin correcting along the road. I don't know who leaked it, because you see, the travel of the president is also a security matter. But this time, so instead of hiring crowd to celebrate Museveni's victory, I know people must be pretending. He must also be consuming the outcome of this election the same way we are consuming it. The other areas that have voted against Museveni, Arango, consistently, Acholi, West Nile at one time, Teso, we did not galvanize ourselves at the same time. Maybe they had been disappointed in the past with the way the Central Region was voting, but I am happy.
But for you in particular, Honorable Ssemujju Nganda, as you try to consume this election, the results of this election, I think there's a lot to ponder as FDC, because, like I was saying before, if this was a savings account, the Honorable Dr. Besigye left 3 million on account, and Engineer Paul almost lost 2.7 million. And quite a number of your members didn't make it back, and this area where you are stronger, you're not strong anymore. So even you yourselves in Najan and
in this parliament, where FDC we are 36 MPs, we are 36 MPs after election. But that's not something to celebrate. You see, the moment we are done with Museveni, that victory will not be a victory of the one who leads the struggle. It will be Uganda's victory. There is absolutely no reason why I shouldn't celebrate if Mpuuga is the one who has led us to success. Certainly I will feel jealous that I didn't do it myself, but I will be celebrating. Because collectively, we face a problem as a country, and that problem is Museveni. That's why we are all shooting in the same direction. You did not hear Kyagulanyi or Muriati attacking each other. We knew the target. And if that target had been hit by the Honorable Kyagulanyi or by General Muntu, I will still be celebrating. So we have a problem as a country, and once that problem is sorted out, then we will begin looking at ourselves as FDC, as a NOP. So, and that's why you saw the last activity of this campaign was for all the opposition candidates to stand at the same platform and say, let's go and protect the vote together. Okay. So while we have a competitive relationship, our goal remains the same, to free this country. If you remember that photograph of all the opposition candidates at Hotel Africana saying, let's go into polling together. So we may be different colors, different political parties, but our agenda remains the same, freeing this country. And the moment the country is free, then we will go and we will compete against each other.
Honorable Anite, doesn't it concern you that this region, for example, has shown you that, in fact, they are tired? They have rejected you. They have defeated your ministers, including the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda. How else can they speak with more clarity than they have already done? What are they going to do? Because we are talking about a region with the biggest numerical strength, a region where people have a higher civic competence, a region in Uganda, civilization began here. Probably they are more aware, and they're telling you know what? No, you are rejects.
You see, Patrick, I want to first of all make it very clear to you that it is lack of appreciation from those who do not vote for, who did not vote for my candidate, that they do not appreciate the work that they have done. Either they feel satisfied, and therefore he's done a lot of development in the area, and therefore they're satisfied, and so they reject him. Or it's an issue of sectarianism, which I think in this case is, and also the people who, for instance, the people of northern Uganda, who historically my brother Ssemujju has referred to, have not been voting for President Museveni, but now voted for President Museveni. The reason why they voted for President Museveni is very, very clear. It is because they finally understood the NRM agenda.
When they
appreciated.
When they did not vote for him, it was sectarianism.
No. First, hold on, Ssemujju. I'm building my case. And I want to make it very clear to you. That is why we, the people of northern Uganda, why were we not voting initially for President Museveni?
It was sectarianism.
Not because of sectarianism. We were not satisfied. I told you there are issues, there are factors that play, that make a candidate to be rejected. Initially, the people of northern Uganda were rejecting President Museveni because they felt that they were not at peace and the rest of the country was at peace. Remember, we were ravaged by war for 20 years. President Museveni fought hard and restored peace in northern Uganda. We had issues of infrastructure. The people of West Nile said we are not connected to the national grid. We do not have good roads. We do not have good schools. Generally, to speak, we do not have the right infrastructure in our area. But the NRM government, in as much as that did not get votes in northern Uganda and West Nile and northern Uganda at large, continued to fix the problems of the people. And that is why you see the new trend of election, of results, that the people decided to come out and vote for President Museveni. The people, if you ask them, why did you vote for President Museveni? It is for the peace and stability. It is for the roads. It is for the electricity. It is for the hospitals. It is for the education system. And it is for the job creation. Now, we are in the process of creating the jobs and even creating more. In our manifesto, they just looked at our manifesto and paid attention to the NRM manifesto. And our manifesto is talking about industrializing Uganda. And we went ahead further deep down and talked about the number of industrial parks that we want to set up in the area and went to the statistics of the jobs that we will create. Now, that made the people to appreciate the person of President Museveni. And he kept on telling them, I will throw for you meat. And the people of northern Uganda thought that I was throwing for them bombs. And the people eventually got the message. Now, that made the people to appreciate and vote for him. Now, the people of Uganda, or the central, and by the way, the people in the capital city are not only Baganda. They're a composition of all the tribes in Uganda. Now, the reason why probably they voted the way they voted is because they feel they have gotten enough, and Mathias and Mpuuga kept on telling them that we have to fight for a change. And they're not talking about securing the future. They're talking about, let us fight for democracy. What is democracy? You can't eat democracy. Our manifesto clearly, if you looked at our slogan, we're talking about securing the future of Ugandans and how we want to do it. And like Honorable Chaglani, who was moving around with his music, and he kept on passing the music and was speaking in the local language. The people here were understanding the local language. That vote for the Mvuli or Mavuli, whatever it is. And the people just went for the umbrella, and they did not care whether we are knocking out a minister who has delivered services or an MP who has delivered services, but all they needed was to vote out the NRM or vote out the bus and vote for the umbrella. And that is what the message he passed. He did not even tell them about service delivery. He did not tell them what he was going to do to them. He was just telling them in his music. And I mean, he's good at singing. That is what he can do best. But I want to ask and again just mentioned to the vice president of NUP. You see, you need to change the mobilization strategy if you really want to win us. Because for us as NRM, we pass a message and we walk the talk. We just don't sing.
If you listen to him, carefully, the issue is that you have a fraudulent process, you have unleveled ground, you have state fusing with the party. You cannot even separate. Some people cannot separate between NRM, the party, and the state infrastructure. So, if they are going to get into a competition with you, you have to overhaul the whole system so that it is fair, and then people can compete. But Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, now that you're going to the 11th Parliament, how will you?
But Patrick, before
wait a moment. I'm going to come back to you. How will you ensure that that fair ground is really created? Okay, you have increased on your numbers. So how do you do it? Because this has eluded you as opposition for quite some time. Every time maybe you get into the election, in the rest thinking, perhaps maybe the people of Uganda this time will speak with a voice that is clear and maybe hand you the power. But in most cases, that doesn't happen. In all the cases.
You know, Patrick, I did listen to my dear sister and friend, the Honorable Anite, and I've always wondered why her own people did not understand her. Now I can understand why they did not understand her. I haven't understood. If you're going to speak for the NRM that way, I'm very sure there will be no NRM in Koboka and in the neighborhood in the next 5 years.
But that is why I swept you. That is why in your Mecca, which you call Arua, I defeated you there. And you said Arua was your Mecca, and what did you get?
How I wish you listened.
I would listen, but I will tell you in Koboko, which you thought you defeated me, I swept you and I gave you a blood nose. President Museveni got 72%.
I actually fought your people rejecting you.
If they reject me, they did not actually reject me. You came and robbed my victory, and you're here bragging, and you said they rejected me. You robbed me of my victory. And then I showed you touch by winning for my president.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I wanted you to say that.
I want to invite you to explain to the people of Uganda when you get an opportunity why Busoga did not vote for the NRM. And you see, for you to imagine that Uganda is overdeveloped, you have a very low level of, ambition. You want to say that Busoga, by voting 75% NUP, is also overdeveloped? What is your level of appreciating where this country must go? Really, are you really shooting that low to imagine that the poverty that is biting our people in Uganda is development?
Do you know that Busoga is the second industrial hub
the corruption
in
you have incubated for 35 years, Herad is development? That actually, the level of health infrastructure, the quality of education that you have presided over as a government is serious development. So I think perhaps we have a different level of appreciating development, both quantitatively and qualitatively, and you're forgivable, my sister.
Then I agree, because you don't want to pay attention to the statistics. You don't want to pay attention to statistics of even the votes. You don't want to pay attention to statistics of the job creation.
You explain to the people. You explain to the unemployed the jobs you created last year.
In Uganda, with the jobs we've created, we're talking about 5,000 jobs that we've created. This is through industrialization. We're talking about 18,000 factories that we have established. Okay? So I want to tell you that even when Busoga voted the way they voted, it is not because NUP did wonders. It is not because NUP had the best strategy. It is because there was an infight between the NRM members.
You're allowed to know when she's done.
Yes, she is done.
She's not done. I can start on him again.
You see, part of the problem, perhaps, is the reason why some of us are a bit elated by where we are, because it's been a struggle. And I cannot claim it as that the output in this region is an effort of a single party. We have been at this with the Ssemujjus for all these years, And when you hear a minister in denial and up to now is trying to explain our incompetence, certainly it gives us a chance to imagine that going forward we have a chance, and therefore we need to look at the possibilities and try to find ground to work using our little energies and capacities. We shall really, the problem, as you did state, it's not really insurmountable. We need to overcome a few, perhaps, internal weaknesses and tip them over. I just imagine the kind of challenge we need to address as leaders. Unemployment, underdevelopment, poor infrastructure, the quality of education, inexistent health care, and and see the amount of resources the regime expends on politics and patronage. And the people in Uganda are observing. And I can tell you, government, the regime is investing more money in patronage and sloganeering in these regions than they invest in the kind of services Ugandans need. Hired crowds, you know, trying to compromise individuals, and it's a lot of effort being done for this. I think politics can be better. Politics can be better, but I know because of 35 years of inertia, they have gotten used to that. And the clarion call we've been making, Buganda has moved fast. Buganda moved to usher in the NRM. It's not the first time that Buganda is moving before other regions. Buganda moved fast by working with Mr. Museveni and his people, and they opposed Obote. Should Buganda apologize for doing it fast then? Buganda moves fast to fight for Uganda's independence. Should that call for an apology because, you know, well, that's sectarianism also? For the last so many years, we have had the results being posited from Western Uganda, where Mr. Museveni comes from. And I'm very sure the NRM people are proud of it. I suppose that was democracy and not sectarianism. And you see, Patrick, the highest level of sectarianism is nepotism. I don't know whether she wants us to discuss nepotism as part of sectarianism. Whose incubation center very well knows. So I don't want us to discuss tribes here. People are very, very keen on their needs. And it starts, every time changes occur, a certain group must start it. It does not ring like a drum that everyone must dance.
I just want to agree that, first of all, I don't even think that Buganda is a tribe. For heaven's sake, Buganda is a nation. No.
So it's an insult. It's an insult to even imagine that that was the motivation.
Well, but Honorable Ssemujju Nganda, what do you make of the voting patterns?
I think the Minister for Investment said she appreciates the cosmopolitan nature of Buganda. And then she says, maybe sectarianism. I am trying to understand her argument.
Actually, she was saying of Kampala.
Buganda?
Oh, she was cosmopolitan nature of Kampala.
Of Buganda?
I said Kampala.
Okay, we can continue.
Okay,
well, Buganda is in Kampala anyway,
okay,
so
Kampala,
either way you're right.
If you appreciate that Kampala is cosmopolitan, then you can't accuse it of being sectarian. That all the tribes of Uganda that are here, when it came to voting against Museveni, they all became Baganda. But anyway, you had to find a reason for this loss. And conveniently, accusing Uganda of being a sectarian was the easiest that you could find within a short time.
First of all, I just want to make this. I do not want us here to label Buganda sectarian. I just want from you to maybe explain in your view what makes this voting pattern the way we saw it.
I am actually surprised that the whole country did not throw out Museveni. I am surprised, but you see, it's like confronting an enemy. There are those who will be hiding, waiting if Kamara takes on the line, maybe they will come. Even areas that voted or whose official results show that they voted Museveni, I did not see them celebrating, and these hired crowds haven't been. So the mercenaries that are hiring people to celebrate haven't reached. In fact, surprisingly, where Museveni lost is where there has been some celebration. I have not seen people celebrating in Koboko.
They celebrated.
But where Museveni lost
They celebrated.
massively is where I've seen crowds celebrating.
We celebrated in West Nile and Koboko.
So this voting pattern, if you go to every part of Uganda, I think their judgment of Museveni remains the same. They may, of course, because of the rigging, but also because of other factors. I have told you in Acholi, Museveni's brother has been there, these days he behaves like a co-president. He can summon heads of security agencies and heads of government parastatals. So the co-president has been in northern Uganda, I think trying to procure. Because you see the trouble, when you begin looking at rigging of election as stuffing of ballots, then you're missing the point. I think he has been there procuring results, and that's why people are not celebrating. I did not see celebrations in Gulu, where official results show that Museveni won. I have seen celebrations where Museveni got 2 votes at a polling station is where there has been celebration. Doesn't surprise you? Where you got 0, where you got 5, where you got 10 is where there is celebration. Maybe Sare hasn't hired people to celebrate in northern Uganda, but he has procured. So you can procure because of the level of poverty. And northern Uganda is the poorest. So
are you telling us that the people of northern Uganda sold their votes?
That is a possibility.
No, that is not right. That is an insult to the people of northern Uganda.
What was Sare
You know, you're making a very big allegation.
No, that is an insult to us. You have to apologize for that. That is wrong.
That they sold, that they had they put a price on their vote and they sold their votes. Is that what you're saying?
So, Kamara, do you live in this country? So you don't know that Museveni procure results. You don't know that. In Rukunjiri, in the by-election.
Ibrahim, I'm only looking for clarity because you're talking about northern Uganda and you're saying General Saleh is there and procured the votes there. In other words, you're meaning that he bought the votes from the people of northern Uganda.
Yes,
did they sell the votes? Is that what you're saying?
He did like he does in every election.
Okay.
In Rukunjiri, in a by-election, he went and spent there 7 billion in a by-election. I was in Jinja. The retro support that Museveni gets, that he supplements with violence and military, it is procured. I will not be surprised that in Koboko, where my sister is celebrating, if there are people who voted for Museveni, are people who were procured.
That's not true.
Someone who procures crowds, does it surprise that he will procure votes?
No. That
he leaks his itinerary and there are crowds along the road to celebrate in areas where he performed miserably. Okay. So, what has been, and I remember having a discussion with Museveni on a radio, and I told him, the moment you continue commercializing the elections in Uganda, turning elections into a big transaction, you are shaking the foundation. Because Museveni will certainly go. The Uganda that he will inherit is a Uganda, I mean, you saw in NRM, they were distributing money on voting day in lines. So really, there is nothing surprising if I told you that Sare was in northern Uganda to procure results. And that's why people who, the victims of this procurement are not celebrating. If there are people who willingly went to vote for him, they did not have to wait for his return from work to celebrate the results. But when you are poor and you sell, you certainly cannot celebrate. So the voting pattern, the question you asked me, I told you at a personal level I am still consuming. I want to understand why, at least in Uganda and Busoga, there has been this big shift this time around. Despite the insurmountable problems that we went through, candidates are not allowed to freely speak and canvass. The Honorable Amri had slept in jail when he went to campaign in Mpigi. So I am still consuming, and I don't want to hurry to pass a judgment like my sister who said this area is cosmopolitan, and then she accused the same area of being sectarian. I don't want to hurry. First, I am celebrating. I am very happy that the area where I live, where I was born, has voted the way it did. I only feel bad that other areas may not have, despite the amount of money that was invested there, the violence. I spoke to people in Teso, and they told me Ruweru, who is the commander of land forces, behaved as if he was also a candidate, moving from one village to another, carrying money, and you know what the military does when they visit an area. So these factors is what we are putting together in a report, and we will inform the country of what went on in areas where they were not.
Okay, and okay, before we go for a break, the Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, what are you doing to ensure you have freedom for your party president?
Certainly, we have done what we believe is most appropriate to go to court. Today we had a hearing for his habeas corpus application, and the court will give a ruling on Monday on it. The other little thing that has happened today is that for the first time his lawyers were allowed to visit him, and they also took some basic groceries for him. And we are moving additively to try and make sure that he gets his freedom, because as our leader, he needs to speak to his people, he needs to speak to party leaders, and chart the way forward in face of the injustice visited on to the party.
What is the situation like at his home in terms of deployment and denial of access by?
Certainly, it's a military garrison. The military has helped themselves on his utilities. They're using his water, his power. They have, I'm advised today by the team that visited that they have actually uprooted his cassava. They are eating some of it.
No.
So it's an unpleasant environment. You do not want to be in his situation. It's most unpleasant, and I believe whoever is responsible for this must reflect on what they want to bring to this country. The argument that he's being protected from wherever they're putting him from, I think is lazy, and is not an argument for an intellectual debate. It's actually not one I will consume any day. Honorable Kyagulanyi is not a person without the basic knowledge to know what he should do and when, and therefore needs the help of the military to tell him when to stay in his house, and when to go to town, when to go shopping, when to go to court. I think the conduct of the regime is not the conduct of an innocent party. It's the conduct of a guilty conscious, group, and they're trying to really hide their guilt in these flimsy excuses. But it's very tough to hide an elephant under a bed, so which is why they're fidgeting over the place. I'm sure sooner than later they'll bulge.
So, Honorable Anite, the more you keep him at his home, that creates even more hunger from his supporters to see him. In fact, it's going to be even more logistically challenging for you the day you decide to leave the army to leave. That's when his people will turn up, because now they want to hear from him. He's just been in a campaign. He's just finished the presidential election. You have not allowed him to see the people. That eager, that hunger for the people to see their leader is growing by the day. So how do you deal with that?
Maybe, Patrick, before I respond to what is happening to Honorable Kyagulanyi, I want, there's the points that my good friend and brother, Honorable Ssemujju, has raised. And I really want to respond to them. One of them being that he doesn't understand why the rest of Uganda did not refuse to vote for President Museveni. And I want to respond to him by saying that it is because, it's the very reason because the people of the rest of Uganda rejected the NUP candidate and his candidate, who, Patrick or boy, Amuriat, because they failed to have the national appeal. How do you explain President Museveni winning Western Uganda, Northern Uganda, and Eastern Uganda, and only losing Buganda? He is the only candidate who had a nationalistic appeal. And he did not lose the entire Buganda. He still got votes in Buganda. So that said, it is the weakness of your candidates that they could not appeal to the nation, that my candidate was able to convince the whole country and get more votes than your candidates. And therefore, you should not really blame that he should have lost and maybe he hired crowds and he bought votes. That's not true, my brother Ssemujju. And you know that. And I even see you smiling because you know the truth. And again, I would like us to face this debate of sectarianism, nepotism. As young people, the good thing is that the age difference between me and Honorable Ssemujju is not that big. And the same with my good friend, Honorable Mathias.
Who is older?
Mpuuga. All of you are older than me, clearly, but it is not a big age difference. But as young people who are here, we have to face this issue. Our country is degenerating to the road of sectarianism. It is no doubt that in the last election, there was sectarianism, there was tribalism, there was sectarian tendencies on the lines of religion, because it is true.
There was the Honorable Nobert Mao from the Acholi region.
Let me
but the
tell
people
you,
didn't go that way.
I will tell you.
There's Honorable Amuriat from Eastern region.
Can you allow me explain it to you? The people, I will give you an example. The few votes that Amuriat got in the eastern part of the region, what were they sloganeering? What were the supporters saying? Let's vote for our own. The people were not voting for substance. What is he saying? What is his manifesto? Let us move away from sectarian tendencies. Let us move to issue-based. I tell you, if I was a voter in Honorable Ssemujju's, in as much as I'm a resident, I don't vote in his area, I would vote for him, not because that he is a different party member, but because of his ways of advancing the agenda. Now, let us vote for issues. Let us vote for what someone is going to do, as opposed to, she's my relative and therefore we have to vote. She's a Catholic, we have to vote for the person. If we are going to go to the Christian, Anglican, let's vote for the Anglican or Muslim. This is going to affect our country. And I want to tell you, Patrick, I'm speaking like someone who is a victim of that type of campaign. And I want to tell you that the sectarian politics, if we're going to just gloss over it, it is going to come and bite us. And as young people, who are the majority of the population of Uganda, we have to face it head on. We have to preach against sectarianism and look at ourselves as one. This time after the election, President Museveni has won. What is ahead of us? What is next for NRM? First of all, we have to continue with the agenda of nationalizing our country. Preach the patriotism. Preach peace. You cannot say that because you're tired of a candidate and therefore you have to resort to violence. Beating people, stripping women naked, robbing them, burning down houses. You don't need to be violent. You can actually get what you want through a ballot box.
But you also know that members of the police force, whose job it is to serve and protect, were involved in beating people.
And I was here with you.
It was them.
I was with you in the studio, Patrick. I was with you in the studio.
Instead of policing the
and
politicians.
I said what they did was not fair. I was with you in the primary elections, and I asked the police to desist from being partisan. I asked that.
Okay, hold
and
on
I'm
to
still
point.
calling them. And the case of...
But you said your party has a Magia, so now...
No. I did not say my party. You put the words in my mouth. I said we do have the Magia as a country. This is if someone decides to go against, and my Magia protects you. Oftentimes they've supported you.
You have now changed.
I have not changed, and I still say the same thing.
But you see,
All right.
Kamara,
I want to take a break so that when we come back, we can continue discussing this. And also, I'll be opening the line so that you two can be a part of this discussion. You'll see the numbers on the screen. You pick your phone and call us, and please make it very brief. And should you have any disagreement with the candidates, with my guests here, please disagree with respect. We'll be right back.
them.
Please, gentlemen and ladies, we are back on air. We're back on air. Welcome back. You're watching On The Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guests tonight are Honorable Evelyn Anite, Honorable Ibrahim Ssemujju Nganda, and Honorable Mathias Mpuuga. I just want to maybe bring you a clip from the Honorable Amelia Chambade. This is what she said after losing the election.
Kati nganze nga bwe nkugambye genda mu kyokusatu abantu bakoowa kati nange ogenda okulaba abantu bakooye ddala oli yakubanga enduulu ng'otuuse ogenda okulaba naye bannange temusanyukiddeeko anti nange mmanyi okwekaza ngaga tusanyuse kugenda okulaba naye of course bakutunuulira mu kyapati koga eri agamba nti Amelia mwagala naye oluusi n'agamba Amelia nkwagala naye pate gy'olimu sigitegeera kwegamba omuntu kyapati nze ndowooza nti oba batunenya kulwawo it's a fact tuluddewo naye ebintu oluusi amazima googirwa it's a fact tuluddewo kyo nakyo abantu bakoowa ate nga batulaba tetulina nnyo tukoze naye balowooza nti ate ebintu byabwe tetubiraba.
Wow, wow. Speaking from the heart. What do you make of that, Honorable Evelyn?
Translate.
Please don't tell me you didn't
Please
understand.
translate. Can you translate?
I
I only know one
Luganda.
Luganda word, which is Majid. Translate. What did she say?
Ssemujju will tell you that with better.
Amelia has told you this government has overstayed.
And they're the nothing doers.
No, but how can I take his translation seriously?
No, it's true. That's
No. Really? How can I take
Evelyn,
no,
please.
get another translator. It can't be Honorable
everything.
Ssemujju.
Now you're looking for the safety of points.
No, I don't know that language.
You have
seriously.
overstayed and you have done nothing. Although you think you have done something.
But you see, if it
The
is
people are
Honorable
tired.
Ssemujju, she might be putting words in Honorable Amelia's mouth because she's telling in me, Honorable Ssemujju, okay, translate to me as a brother. Tell me.
I have finished the translation. She was not going to spend the whole night
What I've
translating.
heard is
But
that
I don't think that is
the
true.
people
What
are
she's
tired.
saying.
She said about Bako.
There are people tired of her.
Sometimes,
Tired of you.
Listen, sometimes they can welcome you, but they tell you, you know what, you as an individual, I understand you. You're okay. But the pattern which you serve, we don't understand it.
She's just trying to justify why she lost elections.
Was he the only one who lost?
She is just justifying. And, you know, she's not a good loser. That's why she's just justifying that, oh, you see, the people loved me as a person if I went alone.
saying
Why
that
didn't
the
she go
people are saying
independent?
you have overstayed.
No. Honorable Amelia should be realistic.
I think
First of all, now that I've gotten the
first of all, Anite,
translation.
you need to be fair.
No,
You need to be
no.
fair to Amelia Chambade.
She is
For you,
justifying her loss.
For you, were you a good loser?
I was a good loser. Honorable Amelia
You
is
were
justifying
kicking
her.
everything.
No. I conceded and I said it is Honorable, my good brother, Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, and they went there and they jumped through my fence. That is what I said, and which is true. And I told them, let them wait for the final results. And indeed, I showed them. I defeated them finally.
You defeated
But
no one.
let me tell you, to just answer Honorable Amelia. Honorable Amelia is justifying her loss. Because this is Honorable Amelia who won the NRM primaries without any challenger. She came unopposed. And she was all saying NRM is very wonderful. She's going to win the flag for us. After all, she came unopposed. Now she's lost. She's saying, you see, the people loved me as Amelia, and they did not love
But that's
the party.
that's not
That is
very
not true.
That has happened even in Chenjeju where I come from.
That
the
is-
LOC5 chairman who won the primaries unopposed has been defeated by an incumbent, Gilbert Rubehayo.
But then have you heard him complain? Have you said that the people said it is only me that they love? Honorable Amelia is just a self-seeker, and she's trying to look for an opportunity to hit. But I am not even surprised that she's speaking the way she's speaking. She's spoken like this behind closed doors before. It's just that you're seeing this for the first time. Honorable Amelia herself.
Be fair to the Honorable
No.
Amelia. You just joined the NRM as to square. She was part of the
It doesn't
founding
matter where
effort
you
of-
join.
of-
It doesn't
of,
matter where you join
yeah,
from.
you
Even if
need
you
to
join it from,
respect- you
even
need
if
to
you join it from
respect-
Nakasero,
You need to
even if
respect
you join it
people
on Entebbe
who
Road.
participate in the investiture.
No, but I want to tell
this
you.
terrible thing called
I
the
want to
NRM.
tell you.
Yeah.
I'm going to open the lines now.
Honorable
So that
Amelia,
And
if
she
the
says she's
We'll get to
breaking
hear
it up.
No,
what Ugandans
that's
are
not
saying
true.
tonight.
If they love her, why
The
did
numbers
she go
on your screen.
independent?
Pick your phone and tell us. You've seen the honorable members are here. They have diverging views, but that's how it is here. What do you have to say? What did you see? What did you experience? I have a call online. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, Kamara. I'm called Nyombe Richard.
Nyombe Richard.
My greetings to Honorable Ssemujju Nganda and my Vice President, Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, plus Anite, Evelyn. Now, first of all, I think wherever the late Right Honorable Speaker Francis Ayume might be right now, deep inside he is crying because Anite doesn't know how the circumstances which led to the late Ayume's perish. Ayume perished in an accident at 4 a.m. in the morning on his way to Kampala. During that time, that's the very time when Museveni was trying to change the constitution to remove the term limits, which Ayume was fighting against. Let me leave that alone. Rest in peace, my good friend, my father, Right Honorable Francis Ayume. What Anita doesn't understand, that seasons change. Nothing stays the same forever. She's saying that Uganda, by voting Bobi Wine, this was sectarianism, but while Uganda was voting Museveni, it's not sectarianism. While the West overwhelmingly voted for Museveni, it's not sectarianism. Let me tell Anite, I come from Nakaseke, where Museveni fought. My grandfather, Ibrahim Nyombi, died a captain, but died a pauper. Baganda are not satisfied at all. Baganda have got nothing from Museveni's government. You go to Nakaseke. Nakaseke has no single tarmac road. The roads are like cow passes. Anita has never been to Nakaseke. So, Baganda, I'm very, 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 very happy that this time around they have woken up. After 35 years of Museveni's rule, they have said enough is enough. We've gained nothing out of Museveni's rule. Let's take another direction. Is that a crime, really? By the way, this is a roll call. Wait for the coming days, for the coming months, for the coming years. You are going to be surprised, Anita. I've told you, nothing stays the same forever. Museveni is not immortal. NRM is not immortal. NUP will surprise you. Thank you very much, Kamara.
Okay, thank you, Nyombi, our caller there. And we now get to know that you're from Nakaseke, child of the revolution, aren't you? I'm going to pick another caller online. And then if you have a question, please direct it to any person here. With respect, and if you have a comment, also make it very brief. I have a call online. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes.
What's
Am I
your name?
on the spot?
Yes, you are, ma'am. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Am I the one online now?
What's your name?
Yes. My name is Irene Coxeter. I'm calling from Norway. And I just want to sort of give feedback to Anite. Governments of Uganda are supposed to serve the country, irrespective of the location. Service delivery is their duty. And Uganda's expectations have to be high. So whether we vote Bobi Wine or Museveni, there will always be service delivery for everyone. That is expected, given what affects Ugandans now is the low expectations Anita is foreseeing, is portraying right now. Ugandans deserve better. People in northern eastern Uganda, people in northern Uganda, yet you had the war for 20 years. It's now 35 years with NRM. What has happened in the last 15 years? People deserve to have better health services. People deserve to have access to education. Children have to have food. There are so many things that are lacking in this country. And this low expectation among politicians is what is keeping bad governments in place.
All right. Thank you.
That was my submission.
Thank you so much. I'm going to pick maybe 3 more before my panelists can make their concluding remarks or even respond to what you are asking if you have a question. I have a call online. Hello. Hello? Hello? I think I have to pick another.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Mayuge.
Mayuge, what's your name, sir?
John.
John, you're on air.
You see, Honorable Anite, have some emotional intelligence. You abused us that you have the Maje. You think you are above the world. No wonder people don't want to vote people like you anymore. And that's why I like people like Ssemujju. Ssemujju is one of the most articulate people I have met on earth. And he emphasizes points. He's not, and better, let me tell you, people in Uganda are not tribal. We have families. Baganda are the most cosmopolitan people. They're the people who actually are very accepting, more than any other tribe, by the way. But when you brand them, and let me tell you, Museveni might have brought this talk innocently, but the impact it has on the ground, you're going to make people galvanize around that talk, and you're going to break this country apart. He abused the Catholic Church. Let me tell you, you people are not immortal, like the previous caller said. You have to wake up. The country is dying, and you are spearheading the death of the country.
All right.
Please grow up.
Oh my God. Okay. We're going to have a language that is civil, but I can understand even when you are angry, you can have your anger, but please present your question or your comment in a manner that is civil. Let me take another caller online. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is James.
I didn't get that, sir.
My name is James. I'm calling from Tinder.
Okay, James, you're on air.
Honorable Anite, can you kindly let us know why you disputed the Mpuuga money on the last day of the campaign?
Okay, your question is precise. She will respond to that. Let me take the last caller online. I have a call online. Hello. Hello. Okay, looks like that one is ready to speak. Let me pick another.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes, please. Elijah.
Elijah, where are you calling from?
From Mukono.
Elijah in Mukono, you are on air.
I'm good.
Elijah, the floor is yours. Please go right ahead with your question or your comment.
Hello?
Okay, we are taking another caller. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Musa Kaya.
Musa Kaya, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Nakwero.
Okay, go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you for bringing Honorable Ssemujju Nganda. My comment is, people have been dying in Uganda for the last 3 weeks, or for the last 4 months before the election. So the Baganda are not tribalistic. It is Museveni who is tribalistic, because people have been voting for him all the way from 96. But when they stand up against him, now they become tribalistic. I respect Mr. Ssemujju, and that was not new. Because for them, these are the MPs which are not there to go for burial, to give people some packages. They are there for the role of the member of the parliament. We shall vote for the National Unity Platform. We shall vote for FDC. We shall vote for change in the coming couple of years. If Museveni doesn't change, change will change him. Thank you so much.
Mr. Kaya, I thank you so much, and I'm closing lines. Thank you for your contributions, and let me start from here. I'd say, well, there was no
Your questions were all.
Yes, you'll talk last, so you respond to them, and then
They were not questions; they are condemnation.
there was one question from you. Okay.
Of course, the callers mirror the feeling of the country and the disenchantment, the disappointment, that sense of betrayal from the Honorable Anite, dancing our way to death, celebrating fraud.
But no, I would not allow you to say that, because that is misrepresentation of my feelings and my views.
You respond.
I have not danced. No, I would not sit here.
You respond.
I would not sit and allow you to put words in my mouth.
You did not condemn
the
killings.
You have to withdraw what you just said.
Honorable
I will not say that.
Mpuuga,
And I will not allow you to just put bad words in my mouth, which I did not say.
Quickly respond.
No, but that is not right.
Okay, very quickly make a response.
No. That is misunderstanding.
I want you to respond to the murders
and I do not
that took place during elections.
Do not put them.
I've given you my time.
I am not very happy
Respond
about
to the
that.
murders.
And I want to tell you, and I'm not very happy about it. So giving you my time, by your time, by putting words in my mouth, that I am celebrating to death.
Respond
and
to
that
the
is
murders.
not right. And I told you that that was not right. Nobody should be killed. The Bible is very clear.
Did you win after killing?
Nobody should kill.
Did you
and
win?
when they wanted to kill people in my constituency in the names of
Did
bullying,
you
I
win
pulled
after
out.
killing?
I pulled out of my race. I do not agree in people killing the earth.
Did
each
you
other.
win countrywide
I
after
don't
killing,
agree.
after jumping
and
over
I
dead
want
bodies?
to tell you, I don't agree with people killing
Did
each
your
other.
party win?
And I want to tell you that it is wrong for anyone to kill any other
So
person.
did you win?
Do not kill anyone for the sake of wanting power. It is wrong. And I want to make it again. It is wrong for you to kill.
Okay. Maybe.
So you should take me
I want to restate the fact that my sister and
don't think
her
I'm
colleagues
celebrating that.
need to realize that this country is moving fast away from slogans to demanding for answers. And whether they respond the way people want or just look on and accuse the people of making a decision close to their hearts and accuse them of tribalism, that won't change the trajectory of the country. The country is fast moving. You either actually re-energize your bus and catch up. The passengers are ahead of you. You are about to transport grass in your bus. So better respond to these
with
serious
319, 16
Okay.
MPs.
Actually, there are no more passengers for your bus.
Honorable Ibrahim, you are
Members of Parliament 316.
They are
and you call them
fraudulently,
buses.
in your bus.
Then you don't know what grass is.
One at a time, Honorable Ssemujju.
I think an opportunity still exists. After these elections, I know internally Mr. Museveni and his group must be thinking about what befell them. Other than turning yourselves, my sister, into cheerleaders, when you retreat in the cabinet, you need to continue advising Mr. Museveni, who became addicted. We have a country. We can make it better. And when I had an opportunity to speak to Museveni at the radio, and I told him this, an opportunity still exists for him to transit, to have a safe exit, and be part of the planning for Uganda. The Honorable Anite, I didn't like you dismissing the Honorable Amelia Chambade as a self-seeker. Mr. Museveni's contemporaries, nearly all of them, have left him. You are now the new breed speaking, and that's why you speak the way you do. Please, you will still live a good life even when Museveni has gone. Don't tie and tag your career and entire life on a regime. So we just need to make this country better, and opportunities still exist. And I know away from cameras, when you meet, this is what you should be sharing with Museveni. I have told you, for me, people are looking at the way Uganda voted. I am looking at the age of those who have voted into parliament. Me and Mpuuga have become elders. I don't know what Jaja will say. If you look at Bashiru Kaziwe Segirinya, they are children, but they are the majority in the country.
No, I have a Mayanja from Nakaseke.
Yes.
They are
I saw the one who defeated Garabuzi. He looks like my son, who is in senior 4. And they are majority now. This
Martin
demographic...
Jemba, who is the current district chairperson elected today in Mpigi, is only 28.
This demographic change and their demands, you can only temporarily block it. Please, Anite, you are a member of cabinet. When you go there, think about Uganda beyond Mr. Museveni and beyond us who are serving now. If you must force yourself on the country will break down. I want to appeal to you. Before you dismiss your colleague, I find the Honorable Amelia Chambade's explanation very appealing. You see, in the governance, I remember discussing with one of the MPs, and he told me I'm going to retire. I asked him why you are one of the best MPs. He told me people are voting for me are fatigued. They have no any other reason, but they are fatigued. And that in itself is a reason. So you don't go waving roads you have done and dams here and schools. The country can get fatigued of you even if you have provided everything. Maybe in countries like America, they wouldn't be changing leaders. because the roads are there, the schools are there, the health centers are there, but they keep changing them.
All right, let's get
So
to here.
please accept it that even if you've taken a road to Koboko for the first time in 22 centuries, people can get tired of you, and don't get angry that I have brought for you a road. How can you not, you don't get angry. People can get fatigued of a person even if he has brought the sky on earth.
All right, Honorable Evelyn and Anite, your parting shot.
Now, you see, I need to first start by responding to the callers before I respond to my colleagues here. The callers, one of the lady callers was making reference to the war in northern Uganda. That war in northern Uganda held us all at ransom. We could not develop. We could not think about infrastructure development such as roads, electricity, water, and schools until we sorted the issue, and President Museveni did that. And we have to commend him, Honorable Ssemujju. We have to commend him.
Don't invite me because when I read the report of the ghost soldiers,
and
that war was a business.
When he did that, then he started fixing the problem of infrastructure, constructed the roads, and built schools, built hospitals.
Whose business was it?
And it is, whose business was it is not an issue. It is that the taxpayers' money, that through industrializing Uganda, that President Museveni spearheaded it and was able to collect enough taxes and was now in position to do infrastructure development. Thus, the people of northern Uganda voted for him. And therefore, I want to explain to that caller that the people of northern Uganda voted for President Museveni not because of what Ssemujju has said that the president bought them. They voted for satisfaction of infrastructure and service delivery. That is one. And the caller who was making reference to the late Francis Ayume, we're still investigating. And I know that the investigation is on. I want to tell you that I am not happy that he died under the circumstances that he died. And the caller should not
I thought it was an accident.
That it was, and therefore accident is investigated. How did the accident happen?
After how many years?
So the investigation, I have been told that is still going on. So I really want to tell you, the caller, that don't think that we are very happy about that accident. When we lose our loved ones, we mourn, and it hurts us. And we don't want anyone to die under whatever the circumstance is, unless it's a natural death. Now, about the issue of the Maje, today I want to take the opportunity. In fact, I should remove the mask and explain properly to these distractors, to the people who don't want to understand.
Even if you leave on the mask, we are
Honorable Ssemujju, I want to explain to you so that it enters your ears once and for all, that I said that nobody will intimidate us, rob us of our peace and stability, and when we have the Maje. And today they are on the streets to protect the sovereignty of the country, and it is a constitutional mandate given to the Maje. So I have explained it. Whoever wants to misinterpret it thereafter, it will be your problem. It will be my word against your word. But I have already explained myself.
Okay.
Now, the other point that I want to explain, and I still want to insist, that we won. That bus is still full of people. That's why we have 316 elected members of parliament, and you have 56. That is why we got 6 million votes, and you have 3 million.
Maybe 0.
And that is why we are going to be sworn in as the NRM government, and you will not be. So I just want you to appreciate and accept.
You actually the only
I want to tell you that you did not have a national character. You did not appeal to the whole country. That's why you kept on thinking that you were having West Nile and Arua as your maker, and you did not get the votes in West Nile and in Arua. That is why you came back without the votes. So I made it clear to you that when you went there, they went to
the people in your area to
we
defeat
did
you.
not.
Really?
Why did we defeat Funga Rock Ups? Why?
Are you in parliament?
Why did we defeat?
Are you in the
I do not have to be in parliament to be able to express my views and support. I want to tell you, I can still work for my people, even outside parliament. So I'm not like you who is desperate
why did you
to be in parliament.
Okay.
I am not desperate.
Okay, gentlemen and ladies.
So I work, and I want to tell
this is
you
where
that
we come
right
to the
now,
end.
finally, I want to appeal to Ugandans.
The
Let
Mpuuga
us
thing.
be
Can you
nationalistic.
explain the Mpuuga money?
Now the Mpuuga money, we do not give the money at the last minute. First of all, there are systems in place. The money needed to go through the process. Even after elections, we're going on to give this money. We are training the people because it is just not a donation. It is money to transform and secure the lives of the people, and for them to be able to do businesses, for them to be able to invest in their enterprises. So you just can't throw money at people. If we are giving it for elections, I want to tell you, we would have given that money even on the voting day. But the fact that we are giving it as a procedure, even tomorrow, we'll still give that Mpuuga money. We have not finished giving out the Mpuuga money because we have to first skill the people and teach them how they're supposed to use this money before we give it to them. It is to transform lives of the people and change their livelihood.
Our time is out.
As NRM, we have to address the issue of poverty and job creation.
They have power and she's very angry. Why are you
I
angry?
am not angry. I'm simply expressing my views. I am actually in a very jovial mood that we punched holes in your umbrella and now it's leaking.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Honorable Evelyn Anite. I want to thank you, Honorable Ibrahim Ssemujju Nganda, and Honorable Mathias Mpuuga, and all of you who have been a part of this discussion. We're watching it. I want to thank you for your great company. I know Uganda, we have a great country, and we are good people, and we mean well, and we deserve better. Probably we have so many challenges, and we're not yet there. But I'm hopeful, Uganda, that we shall get there. Maybe not even this time, but perhaps in the coming years, we shall get there. We have had a tumultuous past. We always pull through. We shall pull through because we love our country. Good night and God bless Uganda.